later on come back to Fava and also talk about the experiment they did around community building at a virtual level. But from now, I'd like to hear from Nosheen, to what extent was data important when they started focusing on women for Hysab Kytab? How did that lead to changes in UI, UX, app design, user journey, and what sort of results did you see as a result of that making those changes? So over to you, Nosheen.
Sure. So our learning was very interesting because when we launched the app, our user base was like 98%, like male users, right? And then we had to like take this decision, okay, we have to make our app more general user. For that, we did this experiment with Karandat. We did this digital experiment where we actually did our entire app audit, and we find out like, and then we spoke to users, and we did the user interviews and everything, and research and everything, and then we redesigned our UI and UX and incorporating those learnings. And some of the learnings were so interesting. Like when we first launched our app, we did not even consider, for example, there's this category housewife, right? And the icon was home, which is like super weird. But when we were launching it, हमें उसका इसका बिल्कुल idea नहीं हुआ था. But when we did the audit, then we realized like these small things are actually very important. And the experiment was to initially introduce sort of a DFS in our app, but we had to sort of do the groundwork for DFS. For example, we had to make app more gender inclusive before introducing DFS. So we redesigned the onboarding, we personalized the onboarding. For example, we in our onboarding we like give like 5 categories. You have to select either your profession, your working mom, or your like housewife or homemaker or something like this, right? And based on this category, you will see deals, and your journey will be defined based on this category. And of course, data was very, very important for us. And the first thing, like in terms of, I would say this experiment, like launching this new UI or DFS, was the first like half of the equation. The other half was the content strategy and marketing. So like we launched the DFS and everything, then we have to like sort of complete the equation with our marketing, right? That's where I come in, right? So we did like we changed our entire tonality. We did a specific content shoot for for women, so that we can incorporate these like those images in our creators. So we like in terms of retention, we make sure that content calendar में at least 60 to 80% हमारे जो creators हैं उसमें we are either they are gender inclusive, or they are like mainly we are using women images or stuff like that. And then we targeted mainly women for a while, because our experiment was mainly to increase the user base for women users. So we were just like, we are only targeting women. हमने तो for a while gender मतलब उसमें से men को हटा ही दिया था. But this was interesting, and as a result of those this experiment, we were able to basically our user acquisition cost went down by like 40%. And then onboarding, after like redesigning the onboarding, our onboarding success rate went up by like 7%. And then overall conversion rate was also increased by 27%. This was very interesting learning in terms of how design can actually increase increase conversion and actually lead to successful onboarding and stuff like this.
I'm glad the computer also reminds you if you're on mute. So Hysab Kytab presented a major watershed in our learning process as well, because then we've been sharing findings with a lot of other grantees and other entities as well. And we've seen huge changes in uptake just by making these tiniest of changes in the interface. Very little things such as the onboarding process gives a lot of comfort to women and helps it easier for them to complete their user journey. We also know that nowadays users just spend a few seconds on an app before they decide if they're going to go ahead or just stop using that app, because if something is intimidating right at the start, you will not go ahead and complete your journey, and you will certainly not give your CNIC details or other personal details if you're not comfortable with the layout of the app. Just because you talked about women, so also happy to hear your experience on what sort of trends were seen with men. Like, did you think that you were losing customers on that side, or or whatever trends you observed? Please share those as well. Nosheen.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Nosheen, do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So while you were making all of these design changes for women, what sort of response did you see on the men's side? Was it constant? Was it going up? Was it going down? Anything you'd want to share on that front?
Interestingly, we did not see like any sort of like we did not see any shocking response. Our male user base was like the uptake was as usual. For example, let's just say if I say like 500 downloads like a daily are, so let's just say if 150 are men, so this was the number was same. It's just when we targeting women more, so we started getting that user base. But men remain same because both we did not like since we were not like marketing for them and everything. So उस पे इतना कोई shocking response नहीं आया था हमारा.
Okay, yeah. Just wanted to have in the point that there was no loss on that side, but there was a gain on the women's side.